they see it themselves. The protests are predictable. This is not surprising. The question is degree of escalation. When the president spoke yesterday, he used the rhetoric of peace. You know, we're going to try to reset. The goal is peace. But certainly, if that is the goal, it is going to go through an increased escalation of some kind of violence. The question is, how much will this tinderbox be lit? Will it be contained to areas of Jerusalem, or could it go wider? Because everybody knew this was the reason that presidents had traditionally said, we may have promised that during the campaign, but the U.S. Embassy functionally needs to remain in Tel Aviv.
Right. Now, these are live pictures from Bethlehem. They are shooting off munitions there. This will obviously be to repel any type of protesting that's going on, violence in the streets. They obviously have a lot more range there. You see water being deployed as well. This is Bethlehem. We're seeing similar types of violence in Ramallah. This was what was warned about. Even by officials around the president, saying, let us beef up security, give us time before you make this announcement. But now we're discussing the political implications of this. Is this a sign that this was a mistake, or is it a sign that it was the right move? That was what John Avlon was just talking about, David Gregory, that we're not going to let violent people bully us out of making the right decision. The White House using what we're seeing in our screens right now as a reason that this was the right move.
Well, the notion that you're going to start off a peace process with this as a beginning, I think, is very difficult. And again, you know, we don't know. This is the beginning. There's certainly reason to believe that there could be widespread protests. We've heard warnings about this. And yet this is being welcomed by the Netanyahu government. Again, from a strategic point of view and the United States administration, there doesn't appear to be an indication that they have a truly global strategy here for how they want to approach Mideast peace. I mean, this is coming at a time where you have a gutted State Department and you have a Secretary of State who does not seem to be that enthusiastic about diplomacy, period. And then to reach in and to give away a major concession like this to Israel before a peace process is amazing without extracting any kind of concession. So if this is a president who wants to strike the ultimate deal, he has rushed ahead to the end and made it a pronouncement that I know Palestinians will find highly prejudicial. And I do think it's worth noting the religious dimension to this, the extent to which this is a big move for evangelical Christians for religious reasons, not just political reasons.
Sure. But I think, you know, Chris pointed out something very important, that Secretary Mattis had requested more time, that this apparently is something that State and Defense had said, give us time to bolster our defenses against exactly this kind of eventuality. That was denied for whatever reason, presumably a political calculation. But, you know, the Mideast peace was outsourced to the president's son-in-law. This was moved forward ahead of the Defense Department's recommendations, and now we're seeing the beginnings of a predictable protest.
And just to be clear, we do not believe that what you're seeing there is mortar fire. You know, all over social media, people are saying they're firing at the protesters. Those look like launchers for tear gas. And that is not a long gun on that white truck. That is a water cannon. So let's just keep this in perspective of what we're seeing here. As the situation on the ground changes, we'll bring you new information.
Okay, gentlemen, stand by, please. And we want to bring in now Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. Senator, I know that you've been watching these developments there in Ramallah and Bethlehem along with us. What are your thoughts?
Well, the public objection